welcome to another episode of the Ramon Foster Show. Happy Hump Day, Mon, and we are brought to you on this Hump Day by the Get-Go Cafe and Market. As always, how's Wednesday treating you so far, man?
If it was any better, my name would be Eddie Yenzer.
Shout out to Benny Brand in the YouTube comments. Back from Steelers today, man. That was good. That was good stuff. Mon, we got a lot to talk about because we talked yesterday about the offensive line being starting to gel and show some positivity. Another name, and Dale, if you listen to the Dale Lawley show, Dale talks about it. Is Mitch Trubisky. He's stringing together a couple of good days in camp. Yesterday on Monday, Monday while I was at camp, when you're hosting shows, man, your days get mixed up real quick.
They get mixed up, and that's okay.
It's crazy, man.
It's the next day.
Right. But Monday at Latrobe Memorial Stadium, Mitch really looked like he was starting to get things together, especially with George Pickens.
Yeah.
So my question to you with that is, now that the offense is getting some positive movement from the offensive line, now that Mitch Trubisky looks like he's gotten out of this training camp slump or whatever this was, this maybe get to know you period with the offense, and he's starting to perform a little bit. Mm-hmm. What does this do, especially for a game week, for this offense's confidence and even the coaching staff? What they think that they can hand over to the offense. Well, how does this this positive surge help things?
Well, this is the thing too. We're at that point in camp. What is it, about 10, 11 days of practice?
Yep.
They've been in camp for
weeks,
a little while, but the days they've kind of had a couple off days here. They got rained out a day or two also. So they've been on the field for about 10, 11 days. And I'll say this, the way camp goes, that first week and some change is all about the install. How much can we install? Let's get this out of the way with the simple stuff, a little bit more of the complex. And now, for the most part, for the season, the playbook is in. So with that being said, they're not just, trial and error when it comes to plays. All right, today we got, this pass and play. We got play action. We got these runs that we got to hit. No, now they're formulating game plans and stuff that works for the guy, Mitch Trubisky, that works for this offense from what they've kind of evaluated and watched film as to be. So that's why you're probably seeing a couple good days out of him, stringing together some plays that you say, okay, this is where his niche is. This is where he finds his grooves on a day-to-day. We need to stay in this box, and then we start to expand out of that. So that explains, again, I've always kind of, I've been saying it for the last few days, this is what camp is about. Finding out how much can you install and then really bringing it back down to the basics and expanding back out again as far as what the quarterback or what the players can handle. Hearing him being able to do that says a lot about, one, his confidence. Secondly, it says a lot about how the offense is coming together. When you mentioned, that the offense had a good day, I'm thinking to myself, well, this is about time. This is about time they put together a day. Then they have another good day. And you're like, this is the battle you expected. This is where you want to be this point in camp, right before the preseason game, right as the starters are kind of get penciled in a little bit. Depth chart comes out.
Yep.
Guys start to settle into roles, man. And the coolest part about it is you're still in camp. Most of the battles are there. You can see who's going to make the comeback catches. You're going to see what Chase Claypool looks like. You're going to see what the backup running back looks like. And again, I'm hearing about this offensive line. You're going to hear about those guys kind of steaming and rolling together too. So this week is a mini dress rehearsal of what's to be expected throughout the season. And it's not going to be perfect. Again, they're going to be throwing some challenges at them with Coach Tomlin. And the offensive and defensive coordinators kind of put together some situations, say, hey, we got to go do these types of things. It's the beginning of the in-season process, man. And I'll be honest with you as I say that again. That is my crutch phrase. If y'all hadn't watched it, I'll be honest with you. I'm always honest with you.
He's an honest man.
But as a player, when you catch this point of camp, you and somebody is going to make the team too, you find yourself in a situation like, okay, now we're feeling like football. This is what the NFL is about. And of course, the 101s still suck every day because I got to go against this hard-headed ass dude right here. I'm sure the back-on-backers for the tight ends and running backs and linebackers still suck too because it's camp. You don't get away from that, but you start to see, they flipped the switch on a little bit. And I think that's what kind of happened with Mitch Trubisky right now.
Right. So here's another thing I've been thinking about with Mitch, because you see it, especially Monday, watching him move around and just getting a feel for actually just how mobile he is.
Yeah.
When you first came into the league, Ben was still the guy that could, he wasn't mobile, but he would hold on to the ball. He'd move around in the pocket. He'd run around and play that, that schoolyard type of football, right?
Yeah.
So how important is it for Mitch Trubisky to start getting comfortable now so that the offensive line can start getting used to blocking for a guy that's not in the pocket like Ben has been the last 2, 3, 4 years?
Man, listen to me. Very important, okay? Yeah. The O-line has to understand what his mobility is going to be. I told you guys before, whenever I got into the starting lineup and I was a young boy getting number 1 reps, maybe my rookie year, going into my second year, and, when I was like, okay, I'm about to start in the game. One of the most important things that was told to me in that era, and this is 2009, Ben was, vibrant as heck.
That is...
You know what I'm saying?
Peak, yeah.
And even 2010, it was, hey, however you felt like you've blocked long, keep going. And when you thought you've blocked longer, again, keep going, because Ben doesn't die. Those were the things that were told to me because of that mobility. And so for, Mitch Trubisky to be moving around the pocket, them moving the pocket a little bit, that has to be something that they got to pay attention to. Do they create a drill for it? No. But if I'm Chooks, if I'm James Daniels, I'm saying to the guys, hey, look, guys, we see he moves around. It's going to suck someplace. It's going to be hard someplace, but we got to figure him out. He honestly got to find a spot in where, look, if you go outside of our protection, that's on you, Mitch. So that is a huge part of the process, because I'll never forget having that conversation, Eddie. He was like, block longer and then block a little bit more. That's where they got to kind of get themselves at, man.
You brought something up interesting there. You said there's not a drill for it, because we always hear about how the receivers have that, after the route's over, just, they have that drill.
Get the 10-yard burst.
Right. But there's as an offensive lineman, what do you do in that situation? Okay. Obviously block longer, but what does that mean? Where are you looking to block? What are you trying to do?
Man,
what are you trying to?
Pride, Eddie, not being the guy that stops the big play. And every single one of us was that guy. We get to practice, and most times it'd be in practice, and coaches would be like, guys, if you held him one more second, look at this. And then they show us on film. There's the wide receiver separating. And all you think to yourself, don't be that guy on film that says, if you had her. It's a pride thing. And you got to say, Mon, how did you do? Well, I don't know how I did it, but I'd feel the defensive linemen, guys were looking to clean up. That's where you see us, honestly, get a little bit more nasty. You see us looking for somebody to clean up. Look, I got him. You go help him over there. Pounce, here he is. Let me go help out. That was the vibes right there. Me and Kelvin Beachum, oh my God. He would set him up for me. And Beach was an undersized tackle too. He would say, hey, big bro, I got him for you. And I say, Pounce, get him, and I'm gone. And I'm going to clean somebody up, because that sets a precedent to them. Don't come in the B gap. And if Ben is scrambling, you better off just waiting, okay, and trying to block the ball. No, that's it. It's a pride thing, Eddie. Just being, just all the way real with you. Is don't be the guy that stops the big play. And Ben was a guy that, y'all know it, he lived for it. And if that's the way Mitch is going to live, then the coaches have to, bring that up. And Coach Tomlin even did that too. If you hold him one, oh my God, he would kill us with that type of stuff in practice. You know how his voice gets too.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the big play, when we come back from this break, I actually want to talk about a low-key, underrated big play type of guy. And I'm not going to name him until we get back.
You tease.
All right, welcome back to the Ramon Foster Show. I promised you I had a name for you, because I think he's an underrated big play guy. And I'm going to set it up like this. Connor Heyward coming into camp, all right, since he's been drafted, has kind of been billed as Derek Watts, that's the guy he's going to be battling with. They're kind of the same player, that tight end, fullback, H-back hybrid kind of guy, could play special teams. Here's the thing about Connor Heyward, though. My man can catch.
Yeah.
He can run routes. and he's deceptively fast. And I'm not talking 40 speed. I'm talking football speed for a guy that's built like basically a bowling ball.
Yeah.
But he also has the capability to bounce off a block or tackles and get out. He's good in pass pro. So he's kind of been my like outside of Jalen Warren. Yeah, I like a lot what I see from Connor Heyward. So my question to you, a guy like that on a football team, he could play special teams, he could block, he could play tight end, he could do a little bit of everything. What does a guy like that mean to a football team, especially, from an offensive line role where you're going to get help when he's on the field with that pass protection?
Man, let's just throw this out there just to begin with. He's a guy where pedigree meets opportunity. I told you one of the main reasons why I wanted to come to Pittsburgh as an undrafted guy. He was drafted in the 6th round, but it's the land of opportunity. If you got a skill set, I sound like Liam Neeson now. If you got a special skill set, and an affinity for for punishment, dishing out punishment, they're going to find a place for you. But this is what's so cool about it. I didn't tell you guys, but Kevin Colbert was in Nashville this past week, and I ended up meeting up with him. He was speaking at a scouting event here in Nashville, and we spoke about Connor. Somebody asked him about Connor Heyward, and they were just like, some of the best hands you've seen. And I was like, really? And these are other people that were in, the Senior Bowl stuff and just scouts that were around him. Was like some of the best hands you've seen, just never really had the opportunity to kind of show him like he's an athlete. He's not just Cam's little brother. He's not just, that wasn't a favoritism type of draft. That was hey, this kid can play ball and we got him in the 6th round and we're going to maximize as much as we can. So the idea that he doesn't stray away from physicality, that he is sneakily an athlete. You hear about the way he can jump. You hear about the way he can run.
Dude, he runs routes so clean for a big guy, man.
See what I'm saying?
I'm watching him with the other tight ends. And I mean, he's better than Zach Gentry at route running. He's not not as tall as Zach Gentry.
Was just a tall giraffe running.
But I mean, like, he's not quite Pat Freiermuth, but like he's not that far off, man. Like I have been so impressed with what I've seen from him in camp. Just the route, the athleticism. You knew he's a big body. The athleticism is just being that close to it. It's been impressive.
And you need that type of guy that they think is unathletic and he's just a blocker. Next thing you know, he's running the screen down the hashes for 15, 20 yards.
He did it to Pitt in the bowl game, man. Like he killed Pitt.
There's a lot of value in that, and just let's splice it a little bit between Derek Watt and Connor. Like, I thought it was 2 fullbacks too to begin with, and I'm thinking to myself, no, like they might actually have to carve out something for him offensively.
I honestly thought it was going to be one of the two of them, and now I think Derek Watt's still going to do his thing, and Connor's going to have a whole new thing role in this offense. And the special teams too, just special teams.
And let's just say this too, the crazy thing about the NFL and football, somebody's bound to get injured. Pat Freiermuth had a couple days just here and there, and there's a guy, Johnny on the spot, as far as Connor Heyward go, that's ready and primed to go. Again, we know what Pat Freiermuth is. There's no way around that. Man. He's special. This kid can be special, okay? But to have a guy in which you ain't got to go sign somebody off the street, you already got him in-house. Everybody else had him underrated, but with the right scheme, the right fit, and the right mentality, you can maximize a 6th round draft pick, man, to get a whole lot out of it. And not just him. I remember a guy, I came in with David Johnson, DJ. He came in with us as a 7th rounder out of Arkansas State. And DJ had a really good career in Pittsburgh. Special teams.
He did.
Catching the ball when needed and the blocking side of everything. There's value in that. The team isn't just made up of your TJs, your Cams, your Devin Bushes, your Miles Jack. No, it's a lot of guys that play roles, and he's a guy that can really carve out something for himself.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing with Connor is, everybody, and I think rightfully so from a fan standpoint, especially, he's Cam's little brother. And I had the chance to on report day, I asked Cam, I said, what, he was talking about the jokes and the pranks and all the stuff that the games they're going to be playing and all that kind of stuff. And, the rookie talent show. And I asked him, I said, Cam, you got anything special planned for Connor? And Cam right away was like, nah, he's going to have enough to deal with. I don't need to add to that,
And did they even arrive together?
I don't think they did. No. Cam showed up on his own. I think Connor got there before he did. Yeah. So, I mean, even that side of it, we see him as Cam's younger brother, But this football team sees him, and this coaching staff sees him as he's his own guy, and he has his own skill set. Yeah. And he's not here because he's Cam's brother. He's here because he could add something special to this football team.
And again, I said time and time again, that's Pittsburgh for you. Like, I don't care if that's your little brother. He better earn it, because he's going to be the main one with the red dot from Coach T on his head as far as the laser in the meeting rooms. Like, don't think you're him because you're here and you got the last name. Like, that's the reality of the way things kind of go in Pittsburgh for the people that say, Coach Tomlin's a player's coach. Yeah, whatever. You better earn your keep, okay? That's how it goes.
Play for him and practice for him before you say that, because I see him. I see how he handles some of these players, man. That ain't a player's coach.
You've gotten some of it up close, haven't you? Yeah. So I'm glad to hear Connor carve out his own little lane for himself, and that could be beneficial. I'm talking about highly beneficial for a guy like that, man. So I'm hyped for him just because everybody wants to play with the siblings or, play against them. And that's some cool stuff.
It is, man. It is. And, you brought up Coach T. I think that might be a good way to get into the Hey Mon segment. So when we come back, it's everybody's favorite segment, the only one that matters. Welcome back to the Ramon Foster Show. It's everybody's favorite segment, the Hey Mon segment. And we've got one from Paulski 5 cents on YouTube, who asks, Hey Mon, we all know that Coach T has his Tomlinisms. Yeah. Also, the older we all get, we start to say things that our parents say. We all know some coaches are like parents. So the older you get and the more you coach, have you ever said something that you thought to yourself, wow, that was a Tomlinism, or another coach?
Oh, my
goodness. I like this one. Hashtag Mon-isms.
Man, I've taken a lot of stuff from coaches because they've just been so influential in my life, just in general. Like, from my high school coaches taking me on recruiting visits to honestly just yes, sir, no, sir. And I already had that type of stuff, but just hard work pays off, all those types of things, man. From my high school coaches, the one I remember the most is in early 2000s, everybody was wearing the Air Force Ones that, they wouldn't tie their shoestrings. And one of the things our coaches used to say to us all the time is, a man that won't tie his shoe won't wipe his behind. And anytime...
What in the world?
You got to bend over and tie your shoe. You don't tie your shoe, you won't wipe you behind, man. Coach Coach Johnny McAdams, man.
Because that might be one of the best things I have ever heard.
Think about it.
I'm keeping that one, man. That is great.
Yeah, man won't tie his shoe, won't wipe his behind. Because he'd be like, athletes don't walk around like this. What are we doing? You look a little sloppy walking around here, son. So it was that, man. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the two most influential men in my life. My uncle and my granddad by far are the two. I do this one a lot because, of course, people ask me for stuff all the time, and it's a matter of helping people. And their biggest thing, I'll help you as long as you're helping yourself. That's one I carry daily, okay? Another one, a monism of mine, and I don't even know where I got this from. If it's a game between me and you, and I tell my kids this because they need to understand what competition is. If it's a game between me and you, I will step on your neck to get what I want. And I've told this to friggin' 8-year-olds. My sons, them know this. Kids that I've coached know this. And I say, you know what? When we cross that line, we're fine. We can be perfect gentlemen after that. But in the spirit of competition, you're going to get this work. Another one in football, you put your face in the fan. That's one that Coach C kind of said. That was Troy, Ryan Clark, Ike Taylor era, Larry Foote, Potsy. That was their eras, man. You better stick your face in this fan. Just the level of commitment to be nasty. That was some of the things that we said. What's another? Now that I'm Johnny on the spot, I can't even remember every other Tomlinism I've used in years.
Embracing adversity is always a good one, man. That's always a great one.
And the other one, be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Be comfortable being uncomfortable. The standard is the standard.
Standard is a standard. And another one that's really good is physical conditioning precedes anything else. I see a kid tired, hey, you ain't do what you're supposed to do. That's a good one of mine that I use a lot. It's so many that it's missing me right now. But what's some of the ones you've heard before?
My favorite, and this is my dad. My favorite from him. We grew up in a neighborhood. If you're from Pittsburgh, you know Hazelwood, and I've got both sides of the family 100 years in that neighborhood. Yeah. And he always would tell me that he said, our blood's in the asphalt and the asphalt's in our blood. I was like, what? It ain't that serious, man. But but that was home. That's how we knew that was home, man. That was probably the one. My grandmother always has that. Don't take no wooden nickels.
Don't take no wooden nickels. Yep.
Yeah, so that's a good one.
Oh, God.
The other one I like from Tomlin, and he throws it in there like it's almost like at the end of a sentence, or like he'll be talking about why everything went wrong, and then he'll be such is life in the NFL. It's such is life, man. Like it's just what, suck it up and deal with it. Like it's too bad, man. Tomlin's great. It just there really is no comfort with Tomlin. There
just
is
lay it out.
Yeah, we don't hide in our by our
we used to go ahead.
That's
what we doing. This is what we had in our meetings. We used to have it as a friggin' we had it as a fine in our room. If we had a bad play and we tried to blame it on somebody else, and I do this to people all the time. Coach Tomlin calls it seeking comfort. Yeah. No, don't blame it. Just own it. Don't blame that on anybody. You had a bad play. Just own it. Don't say you tripped on his foot. You seeking comfort is what he said. Like we don't seek comfort. Was another one.
Comfort and excuses. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, dude, he's got so many though. That's the thing. Like you could probably do an entire episode on all of the different things that Mike Tomlin says.
And not even just that though. And I guarantee you, he could tell you verbatim all of them and what they actually mean. Mm-hmm. Another one which is coming up soon, and everybody parties on Labor Day. His favorite quote: "Walk in the room, man. Congratulations on making the team. I'll tell you what, you'd rather be laboring on Labor Day, wouldn't you? That means you got a job." I was like,
"That's all right.
You're right. I don't have to cook out for Labor Day."
Right. Oh man, That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff.
I got another one too. It's a fine line, man, between squashing grapes and drinking wine.
I think that's a perfect way to end that show. There's a fine line between squashing grapes and drinking wine.
Yes, indeed.
We'll see you Thursday, Mo.